Collagen Active utilizes marine collagen peptides 1 and 3. When combined with spirulina extract, works in tandem with SEU, reducing inflammation, which is the root cause of many of our common ills today. As inflammation subsides in the blood vessels, less congestion and more nutrients surge through the body, including adult stem cells. Your skin depends on constantly rebuilding collagen, as do your bones. For me, I noticed in the 3 weeks I've taken it so far that the old man wrinkles were creeping onto the back of my hand, but they started to reverse. It also smooths out your hair and nails, helps you rebuild bone tissue, and reduces pain in the joints. It also has a soothing effect on the gut. Cerule has made a special deal for our viewers only, 10% off Collagen Active and up to 20% off for a combo deal with Stem Enhance Ultra. The only catch is that this deal only lasts until midnight, November 30th. Simply click on this link in the description box below. I tried it, I like it, and I guarantee you'll like it too. Good evening. I'm still reporting on the coup. Last night, Rob Schmidt on Newsmax did a great story on the huge upset victory of the most conservative candidate on the ballot in the Netherlands, Geert Wilders.
All right, coming on the heels of what we saw in Argentina this week with Conservative Party leader Javier Milei winning a huge presidential election, taking over a traditionally left-wing government, we have another similar story in Europe tonight. It is very impressive what's happened in the Netherlands today. We've reported on the Dutch farmers revolting against their far-left government, seizing thousands of farms to meet their tyrannical climate goals. Much like the U.S., the Netherlands has also seen a huge uptick in migration coming from all over Africa and the Middle East. The culture of a beautiful country like Holland fully under assault as globalist ideologues put their aspirational dreams of world unity above the grounded realism of the people who actually live in their societies. The battle over migration policy brought down the Netherlands' longest-serving prime minister, Mark Rutte, who resigned over the summer. And now a populist party leader is projected to win the Dutch election in a landslide victory. This is a big deal. Geert Wilders, leader of the Conservative Freedom Party, is on course to become the Netherlands' first new prime minister in 13 years. Wilders is 9 seats ahead of his closest rival, far-left Labour and Green Party leader Frans Timmermans. Wilders has vowed to close his country's borders, stop the flow of migrants from North Africa and from the Middle East, remove the Netherlands from the EU, and ban mosques in his country. Interview back in 2017, Wilders was asked by Rebel News reporter Ezra Levant if the Dutch people were being influenced by Brexit and being influenced by Trump's election to finally stand up to the leftist agenda that has taken over their country. Here is what Wilders said.
People, as I said, feel misrepresented by the current political parties, by the current elite, who feel that multiculturalism, mass immigration, Islamization, or the fact that we transferred our national sovereignty to this institution called the European Union in Brussels, and we don't even have the key of our own front door and cannot decide who we let enter into our country or when people should leave. People are fed up with that arrogance of the political elite.
During the run-up to this surprising election, the former government was just seizing farmers' land because they wanted to use this land to fill it with more immigrants, primarily from the poorest regions of Africa. So what were they going to do to feed their own people? Remember, a couple of months ago, you started seeing stories that everyone would be eating insects in the near future. These far leftists have bought into this idea that what the West needs to do is to import the poor Africans to their countries because their own nations are too overcrowded. Huh? Do you think that the Africans that are left behind will stop reproducing? No. These evilly idealistic leftists want all of us peasants to eat bugs and work for them in a modern-day form of servitude, and we will be too weak and too poor to complain. We can live on the lowest rung of the ladder so that their entire privileged group can live many rungs above. These World Economic Forum people literally want us to become animal farms where we are the animals.
Joins us now, along with former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. Gentlemen, to you both, thank you so much for coming on. Ezra, I want to start with you. You know him personally. You've interviewed him several times. This is a massive moment in a country like that. That's a very traditionally liberal government in Holland, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the change from Mark Rutte to Geert Wilders is a 180-degree change. Remember, the previous prime minister was the perfect World Economic Forum man. He was open borders on immigration. He was in this war against farmers. So really the country's done a complete about-face. I want to tell you how far Geert Wilders has come. He was temporarily banned from even visiting the United Kingdom. The ban was later lifted. In his own country, he has been prosecuted again and again for the crime of insulting Islam. And now, again, he eventually won on appeals. But this guy, they tried to destroy him. They tried to marginalize him. They tried to cancel him. They really treated him like a rogue. And now he's the top dog. It's stunning how he hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But the Dutch people have come over to him. I'm actually completely startled because they did everything but put him in prison, and now he got the top vote. It's unbelievable.
It's so similar to what's happening to Trump in this country. They try everything to get rid of him, and it only emboldens him further because people understand that the government has an agenda that doesn't align with theirs. Governor Huckabee, how shocking to see a win like this in Holland.
You know, it's shocking to the establishment, but it's not shocking to people with common sense. Okay. What they're seeing is what we saw in America with the election of Donald Trump and what we're seeing now with him holding a 50-point lead over any other Republican and a 10-point lead over Joe Biden. People are sick of this nonsense.
Yeah.
The borders have been opened. The culture has been decimated. I find it interesting that the Associated Press, which used to be a legitimate news organization, it's a joke of its former self, and all they can do is call Wilders far right, anti-Islam. What they need to be doing is recognizing that here's a person who loves his country, he loves his culture, he would like to preserve and protect it. There's nothing wrong or evil about that. There's something quite wonderful about it. The Dutch people are a proud people, rightfully so. They have a beautiful country. They're beautiful people.
Yeah.
And they don't want their entire culture just completely decimated by people who have no respect for it. So is he a populist? Gosh, I hope so. Because what we're seeing in Holland, I think we're seeing also in the United States. And I think Donald Trump is going to be reelected for the same reasons that Wilders was elected and what we saw in Milei in Argentina.
Yeah, Ezra, Milei and Wilders the same week. Talk about the message that's being sent from now all over the world.
They're populist, they're conservative, they're for freedom, they're against globalism, they're for smaller governments, and both of them are overtly pro-Israel, which is in counter position to the new mania of being pro-Hamas, the anti-Semitism sweeping the world. Milei actually waved an Israeli flag in public several days before his election, which some might have thought would be a risky thing to do. He won. Geert Wilders has been to Israel literally dozens of times, and he recently tweeted an Israeli flag icon in support of Israel. Let me tell you, his view on immigration is very bold. He says zero. He says zero immigration from non-traditional sources. And on Islam, he has an interesting position. He says he's against the ideology of Islam. He likes Muslim people as people. He treats people with respect, but he believes he has the right to criticize the doctrine of Islam. It's a very interesting and very fundamental position. This is as big as Brexit. This is a shockwave moment.
Certainly is. Governor, final thoughts. Go ahead.
Well, it's, I think, a harbinger of things to come. And other European nations ought to start waking up and realizing that many people who love their countries, their culture, their language, love their traditions, have decided that no more of this nonsense. They want to fight back. And from school boards all the way to the White House, we're seeing it in America. And I would say on this Thanksgiving Eve, thank God.
Yeah.
Let's have some more of it, along with our turkey, because we've had enough turkeys in government running things.
Yeah.
It's time that we put the turkeys on the table rather than in Congress and in the White House.
That's exactly right, yeah. And Europe looking a lot different than it did 10 years ago, that's for certain.
I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good day.